Broadcasting from Manhattan Beach and the World Wide Web, you're listening to CHSR, HealthyLife.net.
As a service to our listeners, this program is for general information and entertainment purposes only. CHSR HealthyLife.net does not recommend, endorse, or object to the views, products, or topics expressed or discussed by show hosts or their guests. We suggest you always consult with your own personal, medical, financial, or legal advisor.
Hello, welcome to RadioAMB, where we think pretty is pretty important for all things in beauty. RadioAMB is designed for those who want to live a long and vibrant life. My name is Aliesh Pierce, and I'm sitting in for Patty Schmucker, my friend, my mentor, and my boss. I am the brand strategist for Performance Branding Services, which is the consulting arm of American Made Beauty. I'm a published textbook author, licensed esthetician, and veteran celebrity makeup artist who has been in the industry in one capacity or another for almost 40 years. RadioAMB, which stands for American Made Beauty, is where we tell the secrets behind the making of health and beauty products. Our program sponsor today is American Made Beauty, a platform designed to help beauty lovers find trustworthy beauty brands that follow FDA standards along with high-quality products and other beauty services. Go to AmericanMadeBeauty.com to shop for products and read more about the interviews you hear on RadioAMB. And if you have a brand, go to AmericanMadeBeauty.com to learn more about how to reach domestic and international customers. My guest today is Emmanuel Fritsch, Director of North American Operations for EcoMundo, a group of scientific experts that offer guidance to cosmetics companies navigating regulatory issues. We'll talk more about EcoMundo and the organization's mission a little later in the show, but I want to first welcome Emmanuel.
Hello, Aliesh. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for taking the time out to talk to us today. You know, with such renewed interest in cosmetics, we're seeing several startup beauty brands emerging. And I know that every makeup artist I know would love to develop their own brand. I work with teams that help bring brands to life, so I really understand the passion and the drive that it takes for these founders to pursue their dreams and launch their products. But what I'm seeing is that sometimes this excitement is causing them to act blindly, to act prematurely by launching a brand a little too early. Launching a brand and growing it is really no small feat, and it requires a lot of groundwork. And at the core of that work is regulation compliance. So I want to dive into this with our guest today. During our first feature, we'll talk to Emmanuel about regulation and how to ensure compliance domestically and internationally. In our second segment, we'll address international distribution and how it requires a different structure than that of the U.S. During the third segment, we'll talk about online purchases and cross-border selling. Is it legal? Finally, in our last segment, we'll talk to Emmanuel about his role in fulfilling EcoMundo's mission. So I want to jump right in. At AMB, we have encountered a lot of brands that are seeking distribution overseas, a lot of indie brands. I'm just wondering if you can help us outline the steps that are involved in registering a brand overseas.
So like you said, regulatory compliance is a big step for any indie brand or entrepreneur that is looking to expand into new markets. And the reality is it's often a step that is overlooked at and a really important one, whether you sell in boutiques or whether you have an online store. So the typical process for ensuring that your product, cosmetic finished product, is compliant, and this is going to be really important when you want to sell overseas, is to ensure that you have done basically your homework in terms of ensuring that the formula, that the claims, that your label will respect local requirements. And different countries have different requirements, obviously. And it's really important to understand the requirements that may vary depending on each jurisdiction or each country you want to sell to, and adapt to that and incorporate those results and those observations and ensure that you can plan this ahead.
Exactly.
And by planning, I also mean to budget ahead.
Yes. So this is something that should be written into the initial business plan before the line is even considering launching. This idea of growing the brand to a certain point so that it is ready for export, and that export plan includes all of these additional compliance considerations.
Exactly, and as I usually say to our customers when they ask, I said, yes, there is a cost to compliance, but what you really don't want to face is the cost of non-compliance.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's really important to incorporate compliance into your business plan and build also a timeline before you're launching. And you mentioned the excitement of any brand when they want to go international, and that's normal. That's very exciting to seek new customers, new markets, but you really want to ensure you do things right. So by having whether it's a consultant or whether it's somebody that can help you in-house or is knowledgeable about specific regulations that are in place in various countries, this will help you save a lot of time and possibly a lot of money to avoid any issues, any case of non-compliance that could be really damageable for a brand and for your marketing plan.
Right. And one of the things that I find is most surprising to the brand is, first of these new brands, is that when they're seeking export, they're not familiar with the idea of registration rather than some sort of certification. Can you talk a little bit about appointing a responsible party to handle operations in the country of distribution?
Yeah, for sure. So most countries, first of all, most countries have a regulation about cosmetics or personal care products, and most countries have a registration step somewhere in the process.
Yes.
Whether it's a voluntary registration or if it's a mandatory one. I can give you the example of the EU cosmetic regulation that has a mandatory registration as part of compliance. And we can possibly talk in more details about that. It's called the CPNP. But, I mean, every country, including the U.S., Canada, and a variety of other places have at some point a responsible party or a necessary registration, whether online or to a national authority, before you can actually place the product on the market. So the responsible party or responsible person, depending on the countries, but usually is either a physical individual or a legal entity, a company. Mm-hmm. And usually has to be based in the country where you want to sell. So it needs to have an affiliate, a physical presence in the country where you want to sell. And the role of that responsible person, while it can vary depending on each country again, but usually their role is to ensure the compliance of your product before it is placed on the market. And in some cases, it is not just ensuring compliance in terms of, labels, making sure you do not use any deceptive claims, reviewing your formula and the ingredients, but sometimes it goes beyond that and includes ensuring the safety of your product, ensuring that the product is really safe for the end user, for the consumer. This is the case in Europe, for example, where you need to really build a thorough report on cosmetic safety before you can even register and start selling your product.
Right. So I'm always encountering, naturalistas who love making their own products and really, I'm sure, have wonderful ingredients, but they're making it in their kitchen. They're looking at distribution, and this idea of really growing the brand to be a lucrative business is kind of overwhelming. The idea, so when it comes to safety, can you talk about some of the tests that are then required for, I know you're responsible for compliance of Canada, U.S., and Europe. How does that vary between these three countries?
Yeah, so for example, by ensuring end user safety in Europe, we have a safety assessment that is drafted, that is done under the supervision of a safety assessor. And this is a mandatory requirement when you want to sell to any of the 31 countries regulated under the EU cosmetic regulation. And the role really is so there's a variety of information that we collect, working both with the brand and also sometimes with the contract manufacturer or the raw material suppliers, collecting all the data that will help us assess the safety of the final product, of the final composition. And how we do that is by collecting data that we get on each raw material and each ingredient, such as asking for the material safety data sheet of the raw material, asking for a certificate of analysis that has been performed on a specific ingredient, asking for any technical data sheet, physical, chemical characteristics of the ingredient, so that at the very end, just like you would do for a recipe in your kitchen, so that we have a big picture overview and understanding of every component of the formula that will be exposed to the human being.
Exactly.
More tests may be necessary depending on each ingredient and each product, but this is really the basic principle, at least for Europe. Now, in Canada, there are also tests that can be performed to assess the safety of the product when you registered and declared to Health Canada authorities a cosmetic product, just like you have FDA guidelines under the Food and Drug Act when you want to sell a cosmetic. And as a manufacturer or as a distributor of your product in the United States, you have the responsibility to ensure that your product is safe for the consumer. So the main difference will be in the interpretation, if you will, and the maybe the order of appearance of where that safety assessment comes in. In Europe, it's really, really important for U.S. brands to understand this is something that it needs to be done prior selling and going onto the market. Whereas in other jurisdictions, you have the responsibility to ensure that it's safe, but there isn't really a formal step or formal report that will be asked, that the brand will be asked to provide in order to really assert that the product meets all characteristics.
I'm sorry, I missed the last part.
So as I was saying, depending, each country has a different way of assessing the safety of the product. It's really important to understand one key difference in Europe is that the safety assessment is a very, very thorough step that is part of what we call the Product Information File, the PIF. And this is a safety report that is conducted under the supervision of a safety assessor who usually is a PhD in toxicology, a doctor of pharmacy, somebody who has a really, diploma but also core expertise in analyzing the chemical, physical characteristics of each ingredient. And at the very end, taking, personal responsibility, putting their stamp and saying, yes, I have reviewed the product and I can certify that this product used in the way that, in the precautions of use that are claimed by the company and by the manufacturer, is safe for the end user.
Yes, as an educator for some emerging brands, I've had this experience of having to try to backtrack. And, a lot of the brands, of course, don't own their own formulas. They're going to contract manufacturers. But if these documents aren't considered at the inception of the brand, then you find brand owners find themselves kind of scrambling, going back to the formulator, trying to get information on the raw materials used, because that information wasn't often secured before the brand launch. So this is just another area of consideration, for these wonderful new emerging brands that I'm seeing. When it comes to a responsible party, I want to backtrack just a bit. What are your suggestions? I have heard conversations, I'll say, around using your distributor as a responsible party or an attorney. What would be your recommendation?
Of course, the services that we are, a regulatory consulting firm, so
yes.
That's part of things that we do and offer to customers. But I want to be really transparent and say up front that, technically a responsible party can be, yes, it can be a physical person. You could actually have, John Smith acting as your responsible party, as long as John is based in, has a physical presence based in the country or region that you want to sell to. But you need to analyze, there are, advantages and disadvantages with each option, basically. If you have a physical person in Europe, for example, the name of your responsible party will appear on your packs, on your packaging, their name and address. So we hope that John will have a very successful career in life, but, if anything would happen to John, unfortunately, for the brand that has chosen to work with a physical person versus a legal, a moral, a company, if you will, it's obviously more stable if you have a legal entity, a company, acting for you as your responsible person, because you are covered over time, and if there's anything heaven forbid, that would happen to that person, you do not need to update thousands of labels that are already printed. That's a concrete example. As far as using your distributor or importer as a responsible party, that's also a question that we get a lot. And I'll be totally honest. If you have a good relationship with a local distributor, you met with them, you did, you traveled, and you agreed to the way you wanted to do business together, and they are, offering you to be your responsible party and take responsibility of your compliance and the security, the safety of your product. What you need to understand is that by doing that, you are doing two things. You are actually mixing the regulatory side of your business with the pure, if you want, dollar or business side. You will have a negotiation with your distributor. You will have a margin. You will negotiate, what the price point will be. And so that's something I'm asking usually, foreign brands. I'm asking them, do you really want to share confidential information with your distributor?
Right.
And by confidential information, that includes the formula of your product. So if you have developed your own formula and you own it, as part of a safety assessment, you will likely have to share the exact recipe of your maybe secret trade ingredients or secret trade formula with a third party, your distributor, who potentially is also an entity that you'll be discussing, prices and separate share of cost and profits. So you want to be very careful with that.
Right.
So personally, I don't advise that, but yes, if you ask me, can this be an option? Yes, it can.
This question came up with one of our clients because they actually appointed an individual and then kind of fell out of good graces with that individual, and so it adversely affected their entire company. So this is just yet another thing to consider as we advise these emerging brands on strengthening their international presence. So I want to take a break here. Emmanuel, just hold one second. When we come back, we will discuss more issues that the consumer or the individual brands need to consider when building a brand for international export. You are listening to Radio AMB. We'll be right back.
Shh. Over here. Here's a secret for a virus-free computer. ESET. They've been a pioneer in the antivirus industry for over 25 years. 25 years of innovative, top-rated antivirus protection. ESET's award-winning security solutions provide a safe online experience for over 100 million home and business computer owners. They are so affordable, fast, and simple to use. So be gone, you blue screen of death. ESET's on my computer. If it's not on yours, visit HealthyLife.net's advertiser page and click on ESET now.
Here's the thing about beauty. It's pretty. At AmericanMadeBeauty.com, we're all about the pretty, making it easier for you to find what makes your beauty shine. We have essentially everything you need, and AmericanMadeBeauty.com celebrates brands that were created right here in the U.S. of A. Imagine everything you need from the best hair, skin, and nail products to makeup and even the tools, because it's all about pretty at AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We also think you're pretty important, so visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Browse, buy, learn. AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We're looking for a few good American beauty manufacturers who want to increase their brand in an exclusive credentialed category. If you're an American company who has conceived, designed, and bottled brands that are all about pretty, then we're pretty sure we're talking about you. And we're pretty sure you should be on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. This beauty website focuses on entrepreneurs and beauty startups as well as established brands. If it's pretty, we want to see it, and we want to sell it on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. To learn how you can be part of AmericanMadeBeauty.com, visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com now.
What does HealthyLife.net and Amazon.com have in common? Well, they're both available on the Internet. They both give great value. But most important, most of our positive program hosts and guests are accomplished authors, and their books are available from, you got it, Amazon.com. Now, it even gets better than that, because when you're listening on air to a HealthyLife.net host or guest, you can go directly to Amazon.com and you can order your book while you're still listening to your favorite HealthyLife.net program. So when you hear an author you like, go to the homepage of HealthyLife.net and click on Amazon.com.
Where positive people and radio unite. HealthyLife.net.
Welcome back. You're listening to Radio AMB on HealthyLife.net. I'm Aliesh Pierce, filling in for Patty Schmucker, and our guest is Emmanuel Fritsch. In this segment, I want to drive home the importance of understanding claims a brand is allowed to make in each market. Here of late, with American Made Beauty, we've had a lot of inquiries from indie brands interested in selling in the EU. One of the examples that comes to mind is an independent brand, self-funded. They purchased all of their own formulas, so they own their formulas. They're doing quite well in the U.S., picking up distribution, and they got a little nod from Spain. They sent over a few samples. This one store in Spain loved it, and the founder thought she would kind of jump all of the formalities and just send her products ahead. Since she had an account, they're willing to sell her products. Of course, what happens? What do you think happened, Emmanuel? The products were stopped at the border.
Exactly.
Yes, and now she's having an issue. She's been flagged. So I wanted to just talk to you a little bit so that we can share a word of caution. What can brands expect if they attempt to cut corners, to jumpstart their distribution overseas?
Yeah, so that's something we get asked a lot, and we have every week, every month, we have examples of either our own customers that forgot that are launching new products, and because they're so excited, they have this huge marketing plan, and they forget about local requirements, or they forget to reprint the exact labeling mandatory mentions on their labels, and so they have a case of non-compliance, and their product ends up being blocked at customs in a specific country.
Yeah.
So two things. If you have a responsible party, obviously that person, that company is responsible for your compliance. So a reminder to all brand owners that when they want to expand into new countries, the first, I would say, thing they should do is really to call their regulatory consulting partner and just explain what they want to do. Include them in the discussion around their expansion abroad, and make sure that they have everything in check when it comes to local labeling requirements. I'll give an example with Europe. This often comes as a surprise for North American customers, whether in U.S. or Canada, that in Europe we have 31 countries regulated under the same cosmetic regulation. However, we have over 26 different languages. Mm-hmm. And so by saying somebody is compliant, by saying your product is compliant, does not actually mean that you do not need to translate your labels into the language of your end consumer. So that's why it's really important when you sell to Spain, Italy, Greece, Sweden, and I could cite a number of other countries, that you check before you ship your products, that you check that you have done your homework and that your label is translated. Sweden, for example, you would need to have a description of your label in both Swedish and Finnish. For France, everything needs to be in French. Spain, there are mandatory mentions, compulsory mentions on the label that needs to be translated into Spanish. So that's one example of a case where non-compliance could be flagged by a local custom authority. But sometimes you have more serious cases of non-compliance. Let's say you ship a formula and you just added a new product and you forgot to have the formula reviewed, have the safety assessment done. Then you start technically shipping a product that hasn't been certified, hasn't been registered. So that's a clear, if you want, case of non-compliance that could potentially have more serious effects. And the way non-compliance is enforced will vary in each country. Even in Europe, if you have one cosmetic regulation for all 31 countries, you still have a local enforcement that varies depending on where your products are stocked. So options can, vary, again, depending on who you have on the other end. Sometimes it's somebody, nice, you can discuss, and you can ask them, okay, can you give me a report of why my product is not compliant? They will tell you. They might tell you also what needs to be done for your product to be cleared. Mm-hmm. I've had an example with a U.S. brand. Their product were blocked in Marseille, that's in the south of France. And they had reprinted a number of batch of labels and products and shipped, and forgot to include compulsory mentions such as EcoMundo's name on them. And so the products were blocked, and fortunately we had somebody on the other end at customs in France that were really understanding, and that gave us the option to not ship back the product or not, issue a fine to the company, but give us the option locally, working with their local distributor, to place stickers on each individual product in order to comply with the European cosmetic regulation. So there are ways of if you want, of mitigating the risk. But if you have the luxury of not exposing yourself to serious risk in the first place, that is even better.
Right. That story ended well. I had a recent conversation with another indie brand already selling out of Canada, already selling in the EU, but as you mentioned, they added a few new SKUs and hadn't gone through the proper steps for. Actually, they keep getting blocked because they don't have their SDS sheets, their safety data sheets for those new products. So they're experiencing these stops and starts, kind of getting through and then realizing, oh no, we messed up again. So it's a very interesting process when you're operating without the support of someone who knows the terrain. Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
We also have cases of brands that sell through either eBay or Amazon
yes.
or other online selling platforms. And, usually you have basically it's a worldwide marketplace once you're listed on those sites.
Yes, and I want to interrupt you just a moment. Let's take a moment to discuss that in our next segment. I definitely want to touch on some of the issues that we're seeing popping up with cross-border selling. I know that again, ensuring you have a responsible party who is aware of all of these, the ins and outs will help these brands navigate the terrain. So just hold on a second. We're going to take another quick break, and when we return, we will talk about cross-border selling. So stay with us.
Here's the thing about beauty. It's pretty. At AmericanMadeBeauty.com, we're all about the pretty, making it easy for you to find what makes your beauty shine. We have essentially everything you need, and AmericanMadeBeauty.com celebrates brands that were created right here in the U.S. of A. Imagine everything you need from the best hair, skin, and nail products to makeup and even the tools, because it's all about pretty at AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We also think you're pretty important, so visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Browse, buy, learn. AmericanMadeBeauty.com.
For all your live or pre-recorded webcasting needs, come to earthchannel.com. Get your web-based message out to a select group or the whole world. It's easy. A pioneer in webcasting, earthchannel.com provides the best products and services to big corporations and government users. And now this same technology is available to you. They have the best Earthcast encoders, servers, and products to meet your technical needs. But wait, don't want to mess with technical stress? No problem. They'll do it for you. EarthChannel.com is your answer. You can use webcasting for lots of things like advertising, marketing, customer support, training, and don't forget web radio and TV. In fact, you're listening to a live Earthcast right now. So come to EarthChannel.com. Actualize your audio or video webcasting needs today. You can't beat the friendly service or the price. Call earthchannel.com at 1-800-849-8978. That's 1-800-849-8978.
We're looking for a few good American beauty manufacturers who want to increase their brand in an exclusive credentialed category. If you're an American company who has conceived, designed, and bottled brands that are all about pretty, then we're pretty sure we're talking about you. And we're pretty sure you should be on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. This beauty website focuses on entrepreneurs and beauty startups as well as established brands. If it's pretty, we want to see it, and we want to sell it on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. To learn how you can be part of AmericanMadeBeauty.com, visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com now.
When you're looking for bedding, department store prices can shock you. Well, be shocked no more. Sell steak cheap, not cheap steak. That's the motto of Anna's Linens. Although they don't sell steak, they do sell the best bedding, bath, and home decor items. They strive to provide their merchandise at extreme value to their customers, and they do it. Great everyday prices on everything and military discounts. Plus, if you visit them online, they have clearance items and internet specials. Visit them online now at HealthyLife.net's advertiser page.
Radio your way. HealthyLife.net.
Okay, welcome back. You are listening to RadioAMB on HealthyLife.net. I'm your host, Aliesh Pierce. Our guest is Emmanuel Fritsch. And in this segment, we're going to explore how to remain compliant when selling online. We hear a lot about new brands selling their products online to consumers overseas. So, Emmanuel, can you tell us, aside from needing to consider the cost of shipping their product to the consumer, which is time-consuming and can be very costly. A lot of these brands I'm finding are trying to do that on their own. What should these brand owners be aware of? What type of problems could they run into selling their products overseas, online?
Yeah, sure. So typically, when you want to sell to a new marketplace, it's often the first time the end consumer will be exposed to your new product, and the brand may have a specific communications or marketing plan, and have developed a narrative around the claims and the effects that the product, the finished cosmetic, is intended to do. And so another step with regards to compliance that is really critical is to ensure that the claims that you will be using will be always, truthful, and can be supported by scientific evidence that can be, supported by different means, including experimental studies, including a consumer perception test, a clinical test, or any scientific published information, publications, or market data that would be available to support something that you want to have or say about your product. And so the claims are more than just text. It's really, they can be a trademark, they can be a picture, they can be any sign that would imply either explicitly or implicitly that your product has a specific function or characteristic that differentiates your product from the one of your competitors. So this is really important for a brand to ensure that they are not over-promising, basically. We want to avoid deceptive claims and over-promising claims. If you ask, dermatologists, they will tell you the patients that come in their office often, obviously, they may have some sensitive skin issues that they are consulting about, but they are also often coming with examples of products that they're using, and they're saying, well, I bought this product basically based on a claim that the company was making or a word that I read on the label, and now I'm witnessing those side effects, and I don't understand. I thought, there were no fragrance, or I thought the product was safe for my use, and so they don't understand. So that's really the role of compliance around claims, is really to ensure that there will not be any over-promising statements or anything that cannot be backed by scientific evidence.
Right. So, and my concern, again, another brand I spoke with, a hair care brand, shipping a few things to the EU without really going through the proper steps. My concern is if there are adverse reactions, then that puts a red flag for this company. It could potentially be an issue down the line, blocking them from actually entering the country legally and through the proper channels. For the consumer who is getting excited about this new product, aside from adverse reactions, are there any other side effects that or downsides that you might see for the consumer?
So as a consumer, we live in a globalized economy. We do most of our shopping online. And at the same time, companies are now sourcing ingredients from all over the world, and it gets more and more complex as a consumer to really get down to the bottom of the information about what the product that you are buying, what it contains in terms of ingredients, in terms of origin of those ingredients, and in terms of over time, when I use that product, am I going to develop any side effects or any adverse event reaction? So so that's why it's important for brands to understand the principle behind the review of claims. It's not just to have a fair market for every brand. It's also, and I would say more importantly, for the end user to make a really safe decision making when they choose to buy your product and know exactly what they are buying. So just as if you're like me and you like to read labels when you at the grocery store, then you review the back of the labels and you try to spot, how many ingredients, in what order of predominance the ingredients come in, how much sodium, salt, fat, and all of that. It's a little bit the same thing in cosmetic products. You want to be sure that if you use claims like organic, 100% organic, or if you use a claim your product is free of a specific ingredient, it needs to be science-based, and it needs to be truthful. It's not something that is that you can say just for the sake of having a sort of different narrative and making
an interesting story,
a comfortable spot in the marketplace.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. I've brought to mind right away a brand that I was familiar with using grapeseed extract, saying that was their preservative, so that it's paraben free, but not including the information from the raw materials supplier stating that grapeseed extract actually had parabens in it to maintain freshness. So those little subtleties, I guess, start to become big issues when your brand is overreaching. First, become compliant domestically, understand and build into your plan what's required. With the selling overseas, though, selling online, my concern with the brand is that they're also not understanding, from a marketing perspective, not really understanding the psychographics of that consumer, what their real needs are and how to reach them. And it would seem wiser to me to say, let's hold off and build some expectation while we go through the proper channels rather than, jumping the gun and shipping products off prematurely. Right now, let's see. As I said to you, I could talk to you for hours. I would love to just sit in your office and listen in on how you advise your clients. Right now, though, we're going to take another break. And when we return, Emmanuel, I'd like to ask you more about your role in fulfilling EcoMundo's eco-friendly mission, and also learn a bit more about the REACH consultancy services. So wonderful. Stay with us, and we'll be right back.
Here's the thing about beauty. It's pretty. At AmericanMadeBeauty.com, we're all about the pretty, making it easy for you to find what makes your beauty shine. We have essentially everything you need, and AmericanMadeBeauty.com celebrates brands that were created right here in the U.S. of A. Imagine everything you need, from the best hair, skin, and nail products to makeup and even the tools, because it's all about pretty at AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We also think you're pretty important, so visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Browse, buy, learn. AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We're looking for a few good American beauty manufacturers who want to increase their brand in an exclusive credentialed category. If you're an American company who has conceived, designed, and bottled brands that are all about pretty, then we're pretty sure we're talking about you. And we're pretty sure you should be on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. This beauty website focuses on entrepreneurs and beauty startups as well as established brands. If it's pretty, we want to see it, and we want to sell it on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. To learn how you can be part of AmericanMadeBeauty.com, visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com. domestically.com now.
Oh, man, it never fails. My suitcase just got ripped apart.
Life is a journey. Make it a pleasant one. Use Samsonite. You know the name. For almost a century, Samsonite luggage has proved itself to be the worldwide leader in innovative travel solutions. Let it be yours. Visit HealthyLife.net's affiliate Samsonite on our homepage and click to look at the fine luggage from suitcases to golf travel bags. And don't forget, take a look at their travel accessories. Make life a journey, a pleasant one, with Samsonite.
HealthyLife.net, where positive overcomes negative.
Welcome back. You're listening to RadioAMB on HealthyLife.net. I am your host, Aliesh Pierce. And, okay, Emmanuel, I want to dive into more information, give us more information about the services offered at EcoMundo and your role with the organization.
So EcoMundo is a regulatory compliance firm founded initially in Paris, France. And we've had a local presence in North America and Canada since 2012. And I am the Director of North American Operations for EcoMundo North America, based in Montreal, Canada. And basically, in short, EcoMundo has, I would say, 2+1 key expertise. The first one is chemical compliance and chemical risk management expertise. That specifically deals about the EU regulation on chemicals, which is, you may have heard, is called REACH, registration and authorization of chemicals if you are a company, a foreign company, and you want to sell those products into the European economic space. And then we have our second core expertise, which is the cosmetic compliance expertise. We cover Europe compliance, mostly, 31 countries, but we also, more and more, cover the Health Canada, so Canada and U.S. compliance for customers that come from Europe and more now from Asia, including South Korea. So those are really the two core expertise. And then we have I said +1 because we have another expertise also in softwares. So we are a software editing company as well. We build those software solutions in-house, and those softwares are meant to facilitate the treatment of data and information for companies in the field of chemicals or cosmetics, R&D departments, formulators, companies that need to ensure that they can have if you want, a pre-regulatory check on the formula that they are working on, and in order to save time and be sure that the formula they are developing will be compliant for a variety of places.
So I understand that EcoMundo has developed the first web-based environmental data exchange platform. Can you tell us a little more about that?
So environmental, what exactly you mean, environmental data exchange platform?
Yes. So is that, that's the EcoMundo as a whole, the ability to exchange information online?
Oh, yes, I believe that, yeah. Okay, that is the a data repository platform that we have developed to facilitate the exchange of information between brands, but also their suppliers or contract manufacturers, so as to facilitate the collection of data into a central repository that will make more increase the efficacy and make more efficient the treatment of those data in order for us to build the safety assessment and provide a timely production of their product information file. So that is something that we spend a lot of energy, time, and money on. and helps a lot now that we work with multinational companies that have international perspectives and prospection and opportunities. So they need a place often because they have remote locations and offices. So they need a place where, including in-house, more people from different departments in different countries can access and share information between the sales department, the quality compliance department, and the R&D department, for example, and EcoMundo at the very end.
I love it. I think it's very progressive and such a wonderful service with the idea of preserving the environment at the core. So that mission really resonates with us at American Made Beauty. So let's see. I want to thank you for taking the time, Emmanuel. I really appreciate all of the wisdom you've shared with us today, and I look forward to being able to absorb your information again sometime soon.
Well, thank you very much. I thank you for the opportunity and thanks for having me on the show. And it's a pleasure to every day work with our customers in the U.S. and in Canada and accompany them and help them export. It's really the core of what we do and what we like doing here. And make a complex regulation understandable for them, and making sure they will save the trouble of having any issues on the long term.
Well, thank you so much. I've been a fan of EcoMundo's work for a long time, so it's an honor to sit down and speak with you. Our time has come to an end. So thank you again, Emmanuel, for sharing. Thank you, HealthyLife.net, for the support. And we are going to come back next week with where Patty will be interviewing Tish and Snooki, the founders of Manic Panic. To all of our viewers, if you have any questions or comments, please send them to request@AmericanMadeBeauty.com. And as always, as Patty says, continue to maintain hope for a brighter morning, even in our darkest times. I'm Aliesh Pierce. Thanks for listening to Radio AMB, where we think pretty is pretty important for all things in beauty.
Shh, over here. Here's a secret for a virus-free computer. ESET. They've been a pioneer in the antivirus industry for over 25 years. 25 years of innovative, top-rated antivirus protection. ESET's award-winning security solutions provide a safe online experience for over 100 million home and business computer owners. They are so affordable, fast, and simple to use. So be gone, you blue screen of death. ESET's on my computer. If it's not on yours, visit HealthyLife.net's advertiser page and click on ESET now.
Here's the thing about beauty. It's pretty. At AmericanMadeBeauty.com, we're all about the pretty, making it easy for you to find what makes your beauty shine. We have essentially everything you need, and AmericanMadeBeauty.com celebrates brands that were created right here in the U.S. of A. Imagine everything you need from the best hair, skin, and nail products to makeup and even the tools, because it's all about pretty at AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We also think you're pretty important, so visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Browse, buy, learn. AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We're looking for a few good American beauty manufacturers who want to increase their brand in an exclusive credentialed category. If you're an American company who has conceived, designed, and bottled brands that are all about pretty, then we're pretty sure we're talking about you. And we're pretty sure you should be on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. This beauty website focuses on entrepreneurs and beauty startups as well as established brands. If it's pretty, we want to see it, and we want to sell it on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. To learn how you can be part of AmericanMadeBeauty.com, visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com now.
What does HealthyLife.net and Amazon.com have in common? Well, they're both available on the Internet. They both give great value. But most important, most of our positive program hosts and guests are accomplished authors, and their books are available from, you got it, Amazon.com. Now, it even gets better than that, because when you're listening on air to a HealthyLife.net host or guest, you can go directly to Amazon.com and you can order your book while you're still listening to your favorite HealthyLife.net program. So when you hear an author you like, go to the homepage of HealthyLife.net and click on Amazon.com.
Where positive people and radio unite. HealthyLife.net.